name's Joy Stock and I'm 11 years old and I live in Dunstable. This is my giant teddy bear called Mr. Hugley, and I want to tell you about what I did in lockdown with him. So back in April 2020, we had been in lockdown for a few weeks and I was starting to feel fed up. The novelty of online learning had worn off and I was bored and missing my friends. I wanted to do something to cheer people up who were also bored or fed up in lockdown. So I started taking photos of my giant teddy bear as he crept outside onto our front lawn each day. Every day he did something different. He did the ironing, camped under the stars, cleaned the car, and jigsaws and quizzes, collected food for the local food bank, and so much more. It made people locally who were passing by smile, and we posted the photos online too. Soon he had quite a following. People came to visit him each day on their daily walks. After a few days, I decided to raise money for charity. I had seen on the news about Captain Tom and thought I'd raise money too. I chose our local hospital, the Luton and Dunstable Hospital, and my mum asked me how much I wanted to raise. I said £1,000, but my mum said maybe that was too high a target, and I should set it at a couple of £100 at first. I said no and set a target of £1,000 anyway. My mum was wrong, and today I have raised £6,190. I want to tell you a little about what I've done, and hopefully it might inspire you to do something to make a difference too. It doesn't matter what age you are, we can all do something. Since starting Mr. Hugley in lockdown, I've been interviewed on Heart Radio by Amanda Holden, a highlight for me, and BBC Three Counties Radio, and have also been featured in local newspapers. I was even interviewed live on TV on CBBC, which was scary but fun as well. With the help of my mum, I wrote and self-published a book called The Adventures of Mr. Hugley in Lockdown. The book is a fun poem that looks at the challenges faced and lessons learned during lockdown, accompanied by photos of some of Mr. Hugley's antics. We hope it will be a nice keepsake or good memory for a memory box or time capsule of COVID-19. All the profits from the book sales go to the hospital too. Mr. Hugley finished his daily lockdown posts after 100 days on the 28th of July 2020, as lots of normal life had resumed and I was back at school. We then put together a second book about all the 100 days of Mr. Hugley. It's a photo book of all his antics from the first 100 days. It's been a huge adventure for me. I had fun thinking up new ideas with my family, and it made lockdown fun. My main aim was to bring a smile, and I know Mr. Hugley made lots of people smile as we received lots of messages from people. One lady wrote and said that her life had been like a lockdown for many years due to bad health, and she was so thankful for all the new things that came out in lockdown that helped her feel connected. She used to love checking what Mr. Hugley had done each day. After the first 100 days, I have also received 2 blue pizza badges and letters from the Queen, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Boris Johnson and Captain Tom. On November 5th, 2020, England entered a second mini-lockdown for a month, so Mr. Hugley started making daily appearances again. Due to the cold weather, these appearances were mostly indoors, with photos posted online. The antics would hope to again reflect life in lockdown 2020, with some activities we missed due to COVID, but also things that people were able to do more because of lockdown. During December 2020, Mr. Hugley was honoured to be invited to join the one and only Santa on a sleigh as he visited the streets of Dunstable with the Rhodes Club. He loved his time and many local families loved seeing him. Sadly, Tier 4 was imposed from December 20th, so the last few nights on the sleigh didn't happen. However, it was still very worthwhile bringing smiles to families in Dunstable and surrounding areas, raising lots of money for various schools and charities. Mr. Hugley was so happy to have helped. In January 2021, we were put back into another national lockdown here in the UK, so Mr. Hugley was back making daily appearances. He hoped to spread some more smiles in those gloomy days and keep raising money for the hospital. During this last lockdown, Mr. Hugley went to an empty football stadium, watching a Luton town game with only cardboard cutout people watching alongside him in the stadium. He went to empty churches, deserted theatres, and also showed how jobs had changed. He works in click and collect shops, as a delivery driver for a supermarket, in a drive-through restaurant at Amazon, and many more places. He did a live online drum stream, did a DJ set online, had his own lockdown birthday, went to outdoor exercise classes, and he even dyed his hair in rainbow colours. He also got to help out on Santa's sleigh again this last Christmas. We finished the daily posts on the 17th of May 2021, when many restrictions eased for England. Mr. Hugley made one last appearance on our front lawn on Sunday the 16th of May, and people were welcome to drop by and visit. Whilst the daily lockdown posts have now ended, Mr. Hugley does make occasional appearances. In total, Mr. Hugley has appeared for 260 days, doing something different every day. He's raised £6,190, self-published 2 books, and most importantly, has made lots of people smile. In November 2021, I was nominated and won an award for Young Hero at Luton Community Awards for my fundraising with Mr. Hugley. In December 2021, I was nominated and won an award for Young Achiever at Luton's Best Awards for all I achieved with this project. I really didn't expect to win these and was so happy when I did. I would like to say thanks to everyone for all their support, liking and sharing posts, donating, buying books, and different individuals and companies for helping with props and inviting us places. My donation page on Just Giving is still active, and my books are available from us today or on Amazon. Please do follow Mr. Hugley in Lockdown on Facebook and Instagram. Lockdown was a hard time in many ways, but if lockdown hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have got to do any of this. Mr. Hugley plans to continue to make occasional appearances to keep in touch with you all. If you'd like to invite him anywhere, please do get in touch. Please keep following and sharing. Help us spread the smiles, they are contagious, you know, and raise even more for the hospital. Thank you.
Okay, so I know everybody's had a really long day of lots of speakers and lots of interesting, you've had lots of interesting things, so I'd like everybody to get up for 1 second, for 1 minute, everybody up on your toes. Exercise time. Let's wake you up a little bit because I'm going to talk about some really, really interesting things, and I'm going to be talking about loss and grief, which may be very sad to listen to. So if you feel really sad and if you want to cry, it's okay with me, because crying actually releases toxins from your body. So just shake your hands up in the air for a few minutes, shake your hips a little bit, because that gets all the blood flowing into the brain, I hope, because I want everybody to be awake. You may all sit down, good. So we have some dancing as well, well done. Oh, we've all got some rolling as well. Thank you, that's really great. Thank you, Dee, for organising this and inviting me to this really special event where we are celebrating women from different cultures, different backgrounds, different ages, different abilities. So, first of all, give us all a clap and all the men that support us. We love you guys, but we also hate you sometimes. That's just how it goes. Has anybody seen my book, first of all, called Glowing Despite the Dark? If you have, put your hand up. Oh, there's a young man over there who's seen it. There's a couple of ladies. If anybody has read it, I'd really love like a little, come up later on, after I finish, because this is all about me now. After I finish talking, come and say something. I'd really love it if you could just, say what you thought about it, or if there's something that really sticks, something that really resonates. I'd love to hear about it. So, first of all, I'm going to start with a timeline of all the different experiences I've had in my life. Some of them are very, very traumatic. The book may seem like, oh, this is doom and gloom, but it's not. It's actually a book of encouragement and giving a voice to people that I felt don't always speak up or can't speak up because of whatever reason, because of their background, because of their own difficulties. So, timeline first of all of who I am, who is Hasna. So I look really young, but I'm actually 49, okay? I'm 49, so I've actually been in this world a significant amount of time. And I felt it's important to say that because most people think I'm really, really young and perhaps don't appreciate that actually I have lived some time here and I've got some life experience that I'd really like to share. So here, this is how Hasna's life pans out. I'm talking in the third person. Is that really weird? It's not weird to me, so I'm going to carry on. Okay, I was born in Bangladesh. I came to this country when I was 7 years old. I was forced to get married at the age of 17, and I was in Bangladesh at the time, so I really didn't have a choice, because I think if I was here, I wouldn't stand for it. But being in Bangladesh in a village, I had no choice. I didn't have my passport. So that happened. And I stayed in that marriage even after I came back to the UK, because I felt I had no choice. Back then, within the Asian Muslim community, there were no divorces. I mean, it was really looked down upon, and I'm the eldest of my family, which meant I had this responsibility to make the whole family look like they're normal, quote and unquote, because none of us have normal families, we all know that. Then by the age of 25, I've got 2 children. By the age of 25, small children. And I got pregnant again because, remember, I'm in this marriage that I've been forced to be in, and I'm trying to fix my marriage by having another child. And I miscarried that child. And straight away there was this acceptance that this is not good for you. This pregnancy is not going to fix anything. So although I was very, very sad, I sat in the hospital bleeding and crying, and all I could think was, thank you, God. That's all I thought. And in Arabic it says, Alhamdulillah, which is praise be to Allah. All I kept saying was, you know, thank God, because this wasn't meant for me, and it's okay. I'm sad, but it's okay. Then I decided, no, I'm not going to get pregnant again, because that's not really my life. You know, having children was something I love and I enjoyed, but I'm not going to keep going there. So I decided to go to university and become a social worker, because working with people was my passion, and it still is my passion, working with people. So I went to university, 2 young children, full-time, didn't hang around at university, went to my lectures, came home, got on with it. I've been a social worker for over 15 years now, and that's my profession, but I left it to look after my parents. So where I am now is that I work for myself, I do assessments when I want to, I've written a book, I do a lot of poetry, and I generally just love meeting people and networking. So I'm going to start to talk about now this book, and focus really on one chapter. One chapter. And the chapter I'm going to focus on is called Loss Upon Loss. And this chapter is about my son, my firstborn. So in the first marriage, I was married for 14 years and I had 2 children. I got married a second time and a third time. So I've been married 3 times from men of different backgrounds. So if you want to ask me about what a black man like, come and ask me, because I've been married to a black guy, I've been married to an Asian man, and I'm now currently married to a white man, and I love all men, so, that came out really, really wrong, but I do, I mean, you know, I love my own company, but I love men as well, you know, what can you do, you know, you can't live with them and you can't live without them. So yes, I'm on my 3rd marriage, and my beautiful little boy sitting at the back there. My firstborn, he passed away suddenly at the age of 21. He was 21 at the time. This was 5 years ago now. This month is a very difficult month for me, because this is the month that my son passed away. It's actually on the 25th. It will be 5 years that he's gone. And it's a bittersweet month, because a week before that, which is next Saturday, it's actually next Friday is my daughter's birthday. So my second-born, it's her birthday, and then a week later he passed away. And it was very sudden. No warning, no illness, nothing, no indication whatsoever. And it's called sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. Anybody heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it usually happens to young men. Not women, oddly enough, young men. And yeah, so it's going to be emotional. Yeah, so he was actually at his friend's house, and he passed away at his friend's house. So in the morning, when we went to find him, he was at this house, and the police wouldn't let us in. So that was quite a traumatic event in itself, because I had to wait 3.5 hours outside to see him, because I just wouldn't, the police said go home, you know, when he's in the hospital, we'll let you know. And I was like, no, I'm not leaving my son in a house, someone's house, I don't know whose house. I need to see him, I need to be with him. Anyway, 3.5 hours, I saw him, and he looked very calm, very peaceful, like he was sleeping. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, so we're talking about grief and loss, right? And I know that every single person in here has experienced grief and loss of one form or another. It doesn't have to be death. It could be to do with work, it could do with losing a partner, it could be to do with losing your house. So everybody's experienced grief and loss. And one of the things that keep me sane and keep me going is my faith. Knowing that I will see him again, he's waiting for me, you know? And I think it really, really helps. It doesn't matter what your faith is, as long as you have faith and you believe in a higher being. It really, really helps to navigate this world, because this world can be really, really difficult. And that's why I say that if whoever picks up the book you will pick up something from the book that you will like. And then I've added my poetry in the book as well, which relates to each chapter. And there are some letters in there, and some of the letters are to my son. Some of the letters are to my maternal grandmother, who's always been my hero, my inspiration, my savior, I would say, because she taught me how to love God, and that God loves me. And she taught me that from the age of 0 to 7, because that's the time I was in Bangladesh. She's my maternal grandmother. Yeah, so she taught me how to love Allah, and because of that reason, I carry on every day. Every day, it's for me. It's let's get through today. And I think a lot of us, you know, live like that. If we're going through intense pressure or stress, let's just get through today. And that's really how I live. And that's not actually a bad thing, because we all need to learn to be present. You know, what have we got here? Let's enjoy what we've got here today, now, rather than, well, how am I going to pay the bill tomorrow? And what's going to happen next week and the next year? We don't care. We don't need to care. Let's get through today. Let's enjoy today. Let's enjoy this hour even. So I didn't really want to go into too much depth about grief and loss. And what I wanted to do was read a poem from the book, from the same chapter. And this poem is actually about death, but it's actually hope. It's actually not about death, so it's a little bit confusing. When I read it, you'll appreciate what it is I'm saying. It's called Eternal Beings. So in this book, this is the chapter. There's a poem called My Boy, and the poem is really about when we found out when he passed away. But it's also a conversation with my son, who was the youngest. He was 4 at the time, and it's really interesting, some of the questions that children ask. And you know, when you explain it in a child's language, it also helps you to understand as well. So a lot of that conversation I made into a poem, and I'm going to read that quickly first. It's still going to be a sad one, so brace yourself.
You okay?
Yeah. Yes. It's called My Boy. Why are you crying, Mummy? He inquires, while he wipes my tears with his sleeve and gently rubs my back. I miss Nafis, I reply. He's gone to live with Allah. It's okay, Mummy, he pleads. Don't be sad. Lie down. Shh. Can you sit with them? Yeah.
Just do a little bit of it then.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to take my mic. I'll read that. I should do the next one, yeah. Okay, this is a better one. This is a better one.
Do a little bit, yeah.
So this one is called Eternal Beings. It's a very nice one. Eternal Beings. We are all eternal beings, you and I. The soul never dies. It travels from one world to another, created from the loins of Adam. The soul has travelled from the divine presence. When it resided in Alam al-Arwah, then lovingly placed in the womb of my mother. This place, this dunya, is full of glitz and glamour, and it has no meaning. We are only here to worship the everlasting being. That's not the end of the poem, but I'm going to stop here.
Hello everybody. My name's Theresa, and I have got a rare health condition. Now, has anybody heard of the condition called Myasthenia Gravis? No? I wonder if you've actually seen somebody, perhaps you might not have known what it was, somebody perhaps you think perhaps was asleep, or feeling sad, okay. I'll just show you what it actually looks like. Now, Myasthenia Gravis is that, I'll tell you a bit about it first and then I'll show you. Myasthenia Gravis is a rare neurological condition. It only affects, I think, 1 in 2,000 people, 20,000 people in the country. It's quite rare. And what happens is with Myasthenia Gravis is the signals don't get through all the time between the nerves and the muscles. People normally have antibodies in their body to fight infection. Well, with someone with Myasthenia Gravis like myself, we have the antibodies that don't go away. They plant themselves in the junction between the nerve and the muscle. So what happens is, with the nerve and the muscle being not speaking to each other, then muscles get tired, or sometimes don't even work at all. So if you think about it, now this first started with me in 2004, when I suddenly found that one of my eyes was closing up. I'd been like this, and I couldn't open my eye properly. And I went to the doctors, and they referred me to the hospital, and they said, yes, you've got something called ocular myasthenia. I thought, what is this? So anyway, I did a bit of research about it, and it just affected one eye at the first. And then I had some tablets, and then I went into remission. And then in 2013, I started having something strange happening. I was walking along one day, and suddenly the power would come out in my legs. Suddenly, I was walking along, and suddenly I would just have to do this, because there was no power at all in my legs to be able to carry on. I was just having to walk like a snail. Then I noticed that my arms, I was having to brushing my hair and things, I was having to do this all the time. I thought, what's wrong with me? Suddenly in 2014, I was choking on food and having swallowing problems. And in the end, I completely collapsed and was at the hospital. Now, when I collapsed, they thought I might be having a stroke, because by that time, my eyes were closed like this. My mouth was like that. And I couldn't speak. And they thought I might be having a stroke. But the difference between having a stroke and myasthenia gravis is that stroke has drooping only on one side. I have drooping on both sides. Like that. Peter, my husband, quite often, and I ask people around me, if you see my face going like that, please tell me, because I need perhaps some extra tablets. Well, that's sometimes what happens to start off with. But if I'm actually having a crisis, then getting bad with it, then my whole vote. I'm like a rag doll. I cannot move, I cannot do anything. I've been like this in the hospital, and lots of people don't understand this condition. They think, oh, she's asleep. Oh, wake up. I can hear what's going on, but they say, open your eyes, move your hands, do this. I thought, if I could, I would. But anyway, that's the thing about my condition. But I want to tell you that my condition has not stopped me. When I first was diagnosed, yes, it's upsetting. I was thinking to myself, oh dear, I can't do this anymore, and I can't do that anymore. But now I know that if I pace myself, and I rest in the morning because I want to go out in the evening, or vice versa, then I can do anything I want to. I can do things, I have to listen to my body. Listen to my body and listen to things. So if you ever see anybody, perhaps with a drooping face, or something like that, you might be able to say, well look, that person perhaps is not asleep. Perhaps they've got Myasthenia Gravis. Now I want to share with you a poem that I wrote for the people in hospital, because this is such a rare condition. The people in the hospital and the ambulance people don't know anything about it. And the problem is that this condition can turn suddenly like that into a life-threatening condition where I could be within a few seconds needing to go on a ventilator. Thank the Lord, I haven't had it so far. I've had a few times last year when I've been in the hospital. But thank the Lord, I haven't needed a ventilator. But it is quite a serious condition. So I'll read this poem to you, and this is to educate people. Because I carry around now a card and a passport and something on my phone, because I cannot speak, I cannot see, I cannot do things. And people say, well, when I can't phone the ambulance, people phone the ambulance and they say, speak to me, speak to me. I say, I can't, I'm like this, I can't do all these. And so my husband's deaf, so he can't talk to them. We get through in different ways, but anyway, let me share this poem and you'll be able to see what it actually feels like to actually have Myasthenia Gravis. And this is, as I said, to educate you how it feels. And this is going around the hospital actually. A lot of the OT departments and lots of people have this poem at the hospital. My eyes are closed. My mouth droops on both sides. I'm asleep or sad, people say. My arms won't work. My legs won't walk. I don't like feeling this way. My head is tilted. My voice is a whisper. To chew and swallow food is sometimes an effort. These are some of the ways that Myasthenia Gravis can affect. You may see me as a saggy rag doll, or a toy clown that needs winding up. But inside this body, my mind is still there. I still hear, though I cannot speak up. When I get some help from the tablets or meds, you will see such a change. I'll slowly unwind and come back to life, even though things are still strange. I can now see and speak, move my arms a bit too, but best of the thing is, I can smile at you. So though you think I am asleep, or just a little bit sad, please get me some help, as my myasthenia is bad. So I say at these, with myasthenia, we sometimes lack a smile. But when my myasthenia is under control, I can smile at everybody. And As you see, I actually write poetry, and I've actually had a book published for charity. Thanks very much, I've got some written.